What is up, Hawk fans? We are going to quickly, very quickly, because honestly, I don't really have the time nor the patience to talk much more about Iowa basketball, loss after loss. And realistically, the only way that I can will myself to discuss Iowa is by talking about the big picture more so than the individual game. But as far as the game went, just to succinctly put a few thoughts on it. Iowa competed. It was a home game. I knew that they would give everything that they could in this game. Iowa usually does play well at home. But I had very little optimism that they would win this game. Why? Well, because we have zero evidence that Iowa can beat a quad one team, even if it's at home. They've had multiple opportunities to do so. And when they look back at this season, they are going to say to themselves that they allowed the NCAA tournament to just slip out of their grasp. I mean, it was absolutely right there for the taking. So just to wrap up the game, the game was tied in the first half. Iowa was playing good. They actually got off to a solid start. And then the second half, they couldn't get certain stops. Purdue made some good baskets, made some good plays in the second half, and of course pulled away 90-81. And it was really on the brink of being quite the big defeat, but Iowa battled back and finished as strong as they could. They allowed two players to absolutely go off, one of them being Braden Smith, Purdue's guard, which he is a really savvy basketball player. I love the way he plays. And in a lot of ways, Brock Harding reminds me of how Braden Smith plays as well. That Braden Smith would actually be the player comp that I would give to Brock Harding. They have similar size, similar stature, kind of a similar shot profile. But he went off for 31 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, just absolutely dominated. And then forward Trey Kaufman-Renn had 25 points, 7 boards, and 4 assists. For Iowa, Peyton Sandfort, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Riley Mulvey got the start for Iowa, as well as Seydou Traore. And that was very interesting. And I do want to credit Fran for having the courage to do that. But I do kind of find it interesting that at this point in the year, he is, because Owen Freeman is out, he's abandoning the small ball lineup with Brock Harding and Drew Thelwell, which actually yielded some decent results, but definitely had its drawbacks, which I'll return to. But now, all of a sudden, he wants to go to a bigger lineup with Drew Thelwell, who's 6'3", Josh Dix 6'5", Seydou Traore, who stands 6'7", 6'8", Peyton Sandfort 6'8", and Riley Mulvey, who is a solid 6'11". I thought it was really interesting. And then Seydou Traore only played 11 minutes compared to Brock Harding's 23 minutes. Again, I'll give him credit for having the courage to do it, but I think it's too late. And I'm not sure that the change to be made was Brock Harding. I think he could have found a way to get... here's the thing. Just to be blunt, I thought that their lineup was fine with Owen Freeman, Peyton Sandfort, Drew Thelwell, Josh Dix. I was okay with that lineup. Let's see. Owen Freeman, Josh Dix, Brock Harding, Peyton Sandfort, and Drew Thelwell. I was okay with that starting lineup. What I always said is that I wished that he found more minutes for Riley Mulvey specifically, and Evan Bronze, to allow Owen Freeman to play super hard in the slightly lower minutes that he gets. And instead, now you have an injured Owen Freeman because he played more than he should have. Owen Freeman is a talented player, but he's not yet so talented to where you can't have him on the floor. And Iowa could have bolstered their depth. They could have got some size out there. They could have brought some guys along so that they would be further in their development by this part of the year. Riley Mulvey, his whole career has been kind of a wash. Why he stayed at Iowa is beyond me. Those are kind of my thoughts, and I think Fran McCaffrey, and he even said this multiple games, this is a common thing of his where he says, oh, I should have got this guy more minutes. Oh, I should have got this guy more minutes. So in this game, and this is what it should have been, obviously, but with Owen Freeman in there. Owen Freeman should have been playing, of a 40 minutes, should be playing anywhere from 25 to max 35. But I would say more like 25 to 30 minutes. You find a few minutes here or there for Riley Mulvey to get in there. You find a few minutes to get Lajai Dembele in there at the power forward spot, maybe the center spot if you're playing small. And you find minutes for Evan Bronze to get in there again at the 4 if you're trying to have a bigger lineup, or at the 5 if you're trying to have a smaller lineup. Those are my thoughts on the roster change. Just to look at the team stats, Purdue shot 52.6%. You're not going to beat the number 7 team in the country if you allow them to shoot above 50%. Iowa shot 51.7%. Purdue obviously is a good offensive team, but again, you're not going to beat them even if you're at home, if you're allowing them to shoot that. And they shot 48% from 3. Iowa shot 36%. Again, Iowa struggled from the free throw line, shooting below 70%. They shot 62.5%, 10 of 16. If they make 3 more, it's possibly a different ball game because they're that much closer. When you're at the Division I level and when you're at the level of high-level varsity basketball to college, the smallest things make the difference in a game. Total rebounds 33 to 26, not terrible. Obviously, we've seen worse, and I'm not surprised that it was slightly better. They still lost, but it was slightly better because they had more size out there. But again, it comes down to desire. I've said this many times. And Iowa just this year has not had the desire to rebound. Assists 19 to 13 in favor of Iowa. Blocks 4 to 1 in favor of Iowa. Again, this is like a common stat sheet that we see. They lose the rebounding battle. They win the assist battle. They win the block battle. They usually win the steals battle. They didn't win it this time. They had 5 compared to Purdue's 9. And they usually win the turnover battle. So just to look at this as an overview, and just real quick, Josh Dix got back on track with 27 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. So just as a big overview here, let me start with Josh Dix. Iowa really needs to start looking to him to get ready for next year and allow him to become the player that he is fully capable of being, which is an alpha. He needs to be Iowa's number 1 option next year. He's the most talented player, and they need to start looking at him more. He needs to start carrying a more consistently big load, and I think with Owen Freeman, that is possible. As far as this season goes, it's really just seeing what you have for next year and trying to get guys further along and develop them for next year. Who knows what's going to happen with Fran McCaffrey and whether he's going to return or not. But you're really just seeing what you have for next year. When Iowa looks back at this year, we're approaching 10 minutes here. I want to keep this video under 12 minutes. When Iowa looks back at this year, there's going to be a few games, as it always does, that defines this year. Because number one, Iowa's not a terrible team, but they're just not where they need to be an NCAA tournament team. If you're going to be an NCAA tournament team as a Power 4 team, you have to be a consistently good team. Not great, not elite, but a consistently good team. And Iowa has really been like this year. At times they've been good. At times they've been really bad. At times they've been approaching great. At times they've been horrendous. Namely the rebounding and the defense. This game, the Iowa State game and the Utah State game are going to be the 3 quad 1 games that Iowa should have at least picked up one victory in. If they just had one victory out of those 3 quad 1 victories as of right now, the outlook on the season is so much different. And they squandered all 3 of those opportunities. And then obviously the Minnesota game, I don't even know where things stand with that. Let me see if I can get it. It's been a while since I've looked at the net team sheets because of how far Iowa is down. But I mean, they're actually not that much further down. I mean, they're still 65th, but they're 0-8 in quad 1 games. They're 6-0 in quad 2. In that Minnesota game, Minnesota is definitely getting better, but it's going to be hard for that not to be a quad 3 loss, as Minnesota is currently 95th, and in order for it to be a quad 2 loss, they'd have to get into the top 75. But but here we are. I mean, Northwestern is 54th, Nebraska is 50th. But they've just been more consistent. And obviously Iowa beat those 2 teams. The season is not done. There's a lot of people that are saying the season's done. It's not. Statistically, Iowa still does have a lot of opportunities. But to be an NCAA tournament team in the Big Ten, you have to have at least, even with multiple quad 2 victories and being perfect as Iowa is, you have to have at least 2 quad 1 victories. Preferably 3, but at least 2. So, that's pretty much it, guys. Like I said, I want to keep this video short, so I'm going to stick to that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate your guys' support for the content. You guys really like my analysis on Fran McCaffrey. I appreciate the kind words and you guys letting me know that you guys appreciate my brutal honesty in my analysis of Iowa sports. Just know that that's always going to be my shtick. Because I'm not associated with any organization, with any paper or anything like that. So I really appreciate the kind words. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment. You guys know the drill. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. In fact, our feelings, because your feelings just matter. I love you, Hawk fans. Hang in there. Go Hawks. Bye-bye.